How's it going, guys and geeks? No, really, how are you? I'm genuinely curious. You guys never answer my question. Welcome to the Geekritique show. My name is Dakota. I just wanted to talk about Black Widow today. It's something that's been on my mind for a little bit, especially when it comes to timeline placement. You guys know I work on the MCU Timeline, not officially, but unofficially, and I'm kind of an enthusiast when it comes to it. But the trailer for Black Widow has left me with a lot of questions, and a lot of you in my trailer reaction kind of brushed it off as, oh no, this definitely takes place, it's confirmed, between Civil War and Infinity War. So sometime between April 2016 and April 2018. So that 2-year period. I don't have a problem with that, but the trailer gives me reason to pause. Now, obviously, there are many time periods that are going to be showcased in this film. One big part of Black Widow's life is, flashbacks. A lot of her arc is told through her flashbacks and how she's changed as a person, how she struggled as a young person, being trained as a spy. And I'm expecting that we're going to be getting quite a few different scenes. One of them presumably in Budapest. We do see Budapest in the trailer, but that doesn't mean that that particular scene is going to be a direct reference to Hawkeye, besides the location. The first scene that gives me pause is the scene with a young General Ross. The first time we ever saw Ross was in 2007's The Incredible Hulk. While The Incredible Hulk purports to take place in film in 2007, that date has to be rectified, or retconned rather, and we explain why, to about 2011 in this video right here. So up until now, that's the earliest we've seen of General Ross. But we do see a de-aged General Ross in this trailer. I have a little bit of a problem with that because the vehicles around him are at the very earliest released January 2006. That's the 10th generation of Chevy Suburbans. So that's the earliest that car was ever available, January 2006. So why would they need to de-age him earlier looking than necessarily the Incredible Hulk? Unless they're just, ignoring how he looked in the 2007 film and are just like showing this is taking place in the past, he's a little bit younger. So I'm not sure about that. That gives me pause. One trick that I use in determining when a film takes place or a scene in a film takes place is by looking at the items around the actors. The items that they're using, the items that they're surrounding. And in this case, with this scene with Yelena Belova, behind her you see a PS3 drum set for Guitar Hero. Now, this item was introduced into the world, the real world anyway, on February 2009, so it has to take place after that fact. And obviously I'm not saying this film takes place in the early part of the previous decade. I'm just saying that that's how you kind of determine that kind of stuff. In this scene, I expect it to take place between Civil War and Infinity War, so sometime maybe 2017. That's likely, because it looks unused. It looks like it's just sitting off in the corner in an abandoned home, which fits with the interactions we see with those two characters. But that just goes to show you that the people behind the prop making actually do put a lot of thought into it, which is why scenes like the one with General Ross are so confusing to me, because it looks like they're trying to make him, maybe late 90s, early 2000s. But those Suburbans can't possibly be any earlier than January 2006. Going along that prop route, we actually look at Black Widow's props that she uses in different countries, different IDs with different names on them, passports and such. But those IDs aren't in focus, so we can't actually tell when those were issued or when they expire. So that is useless information currently. But what is really interesting is the visa behind those IDs that she's holding. You actually see a date issued of January 2019 and a date expired 14th of January 2021. Both of those dates take place after the snap, but that does not fit with the hairstyle that Black Widow has in this shot, because we know after Infinity War she had short blonde hair that she let grow out until she had long semi-blonde, semi-red hair in Endgame. Could they be trying to fool us by digitally changing her hair in this shot? When prop makers are making props, they do so that it makes sense, especially when it comes to timeline placement. So they don't want you to be removed from the film. So could this be a mistake, and this clearly takes place before 2019? Because if you look up Vietnamese visas, you have clear examples of, the bottom date is the issue date versus the top right date, which is the expiry date. So they clearly had to look at that so that they could make that fake visa. So is it possible that that particular scene or some scenes take place post-Infinity War and she's remembering a time previously? Or is it possible that the entire film takes place between Infinity War and Endgame? I think that would be a really interesting twist that they, were hiding from people, because, it very well could take place between Civil War and Infinity War, and that'd be no problem because she's away from her family, the Avengers, for so long. But given that line in the trailer,
this family, but nothing lasts forever.
After Infinity War, that makes a lot more sense, in my opinion. Is it possible that she's going back home to see if the rest of her family, or the people she calls family, are still alive, and the rest of the family also does the same? They all kind of converge after that moment to figure out what's happening with the world. That could be interesting. And the red hair might be throwing us off, but I don't know. I'm genuinely curious. The timeline seems a little bit confused to me, and I just wanted to make this video to express my frustration with the trailer. I do currently believe that Black Widow takes place between Civil War and Infinity War, not between Infinity War and Endgame, but that would be super cool, and I think actually cooler than the Civil War gap. What are your thoughts? I would love to hear them. Guys, did you check out our last video where we broke down some huge scoops for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as the new Star Wars movie that's coming out in 2022? If not, please go click that video right there. But if you want more timeline goodness, you can check out that playlist right there. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.